Black cars filled the driveway like a dark river. Rain tapped softly on the roofs. Inside the church, everything felt heavy. Black suits. Black dresses. Black coffin. The late billionaire Robert King lay in that coffin. People whispered big words like icon, legend, business genius. On the first row sat his mother, Evelyn King. Diamond earrings. Perfect hair. Eyes as cold as ice. Next to her sat John, Robert's brother-in-law and business partner. He checked his watch again and again, like the funeral was wasting his time. But on the very edge of the front row sat a woman in a simple black dress. The dress was clean, but old. Her shoes were slightly cracked. Her hands were rough from years of work. This was Emma, the maid, the nanny, the help. People stared. People whispered. Why is she sitting with the family? Is Evelyn crazy? She's just a servant. Evelyn leaned toward John and hissed, after today, she's gone. I won't let staff act like family. Emma heard it. Her fingers trembled. But she kept her eyes low. Because right beside her, holding her hand so tightly it almost hurt, sat Michael, Robert's only son. 10 years old. Small black suit. Red, tired eyes. He was not holding his rich grandmother's hand. He was not leaning on Uncle John. He was glued to Emma's side like she was the only safe place in the world. Miss Emma, he whispered, voice shaking. Don't leave me, please. Her heart almost broke in half. I'm here, she whispered back. I'm not going anywhere. Up at the front, the priest spoke. We are gathered here to say goodbye to Robert King. But Michael wasn't listening. His chest moved fast. He stared at the coffin, then at Emma, then back again. Evelyn leaned close to him and snapped quietly, Stop clinging to the maid. It looks cheap. She is staff, not family. Those words cut Emma like a knife. But she kept silent. She was used to this. Rich versus poor. Suddenly, Michael stood up. Chairs creaked. Heads turned. Phones and cameras quietly lifted. The boy walked to the front, climbed the small step, and took the microphone with shaking hands. My dad is gone, he said, voice trembling. My mom, Sophia, went to heaven when I was little. He stared at the faces in front of him. When I cried at night, he said, most of you were not there. His eyes went to Evelyn and John. You were busy with money. With meetings. Then he turned and pointed at Emma. But she was there. When I had nightmares. When I was sick. When I missed my mom. He walked down from the stage and stood in front of her. Everyone watched. No one even breathed. Miss Emma, he said, voice breaking. Will you be my mother? Gasps filled the room. Evelyn jumped to her feet. Michael. Sit down. She is just the help. But Michael stayed where he was, waiting. Emma's heart pounded. Her hand touched the folded letter in her pocket. The secret no one knew. She opened her mouth to answer. And a calm, firm voice from the back said, before she answers, everyone here needs to know the truth. If you were sitting there, would your heart be on Michael's side or Evelyn's? To understand that moment, we have to go back. Back to the first day, Emma entered the King mansion. She stood at the huge iron gates, holding a cheap cloth bag. The guard looked her up and down. You sure you're at the right place? He smirked. This is the King estate, not some charity home. Emma swallowed. Yes, sir. I'm here for the nanny job. The gates opened slowly. Inside, everything looked unreal. Perfect green grass. Fountain in the middle. Cars that cost more than her whole street. Inside the mansion, the air smelled like flowers and polish. Marble floors. Crystal lights. On the wall were huge photos of Robert King with important people. Right in the center was a picture of a beautiful woman with warm eyes. Sophia. Michael's late mother. Don't stand there staring, a sharp voice said. Emma turned. It was Evelyn. You're the girl from the agency? Evelyn asked. Yes, ma'am. Emma. Evelyn looked at her shoes, her hands, her face. Her lips curled, almost like she smelled something bad. You will sleep near the laundry, she said. You will eat in the kitchen after the family is done. You will not act familiar. You are not family. You are staff. Understand? Yes, ma'am, Emma whispered. And you will care for Michael, Evelyn added. No unnecessary hugs. No trying to be motherly. He had a mother. That last sentence stabbed. He had a mother. Emma nodded again. Later, she stood at a door covered with stickers and superhero drawings. She knocked. Michael. No answer. She opened the door softly. A small boy sat on the floor, tablet in his hands, eyes empty. Hi, Michael, she said gently. I'm Emma. I'll be helping. Go away, he muttered. You'll leave like the others. Her chest tightened. I'm not planning to leave, she said softly. I also make the best hot chocolate in the world. He glanced up at her for half a second, then looked away. That night, thunder crashed outside. Around midnight, Emma heard someone crying. She followed the sound to Michael's room. He was sitting up, hands over his ears, tears on his cheeks. Mom, don't go. Mom, come back, he sobbed. Emma went to him slowly. It's okay, sweetheart, she whispered. You're not alone. His eyes opened. Where's Mom? Emma swallowed. She's in heaven. He began to shake. I hate this house. I hate everyone. Without thinking, Emma hugged him. He clung to her like he was drowning. In the hallway, half hidden in the dark, Evelyn watched with cold eyes. The next morning, she called Emma to the study. I saw you hugging him, she said. Don't let him confuse you with his mother. You are staff. Nothing more. Yes, ma'am, Emma said. But something had already changed in her heart. Days passed. Michael started following her everywhere. Kitchen, garden, laundry. One afternoon, he spilled juice on his shirt. Emma helped him change. As she lifted his shirt, she froze. On his left shoulder, a small, star-shaped birthmark. The same shape she had seen once, 10 years ago. On a newborn they said had died. Her baby. If you saw that mark, would you think it was just a coincidence? Or would your soul start screaming that something is wrong? That night, Emma lay awake in her tiny room. The ceiling light flickered. Tears rolled silently into her pillow. Her mind went back to that hospital. She remembered the pain, the crying, the nurse's sad face. I'm sorry, the nurse had said. The baby didn't make it. Emma had begged, screamed. Let me see him. Just once. But they didn't. They took the baby away. All she remembered clearly was that tiny birthmark. A small star on the baby's shoulder. Now she'd seen the same star on Michael. The next day, she walked through the hallway, carrying a tray. As she passed Evelyn's study, she heard voices inside. She wasn't trying to listen. But one sentence stopped her feet. If he ever finds out what we did with that maid's baby, John said, he'll never forgive us. Emma's heart dropped. Her fingers tightened on the tray. Evelyn's cold voice followed. We saved his marriage, she said. Sophia couldn't have children. Robert wanted an heir. That girl from the slums was pregnant. It was an opportunity. Emma's hands started to shake. We gave her some money, Evelyn continued. Told her the baby died. She should be grateful. Robert got a son. The Kings stayed powerful. Everyone wins. Except the maid, John added with a short laugh. Glass rattled on Emma's tray. Her knees almost gave way. She took a step back. The tray slipped. Crash. Cups shattered on the floor. The study door flew open. Evelyn stared at her, eyes sharp like knives. "What are you doing here?" she demanded. I dropped. "I'm sorry, ma'am," Emma stammered. Evelyn's eyes narrowed, searching her face. "How much did you hear?" "Nothing, ma'am. I just—" "Clean it and go," Evelyn snapped. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were full of warning. That night, Emma curled up in bed, hugging herself. "Michael, my baby," she whispered. "Did they really?" Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost ignored it, but something told her to answer. Hello. A soft, older voice spoke. "Emma? Is this Emma who gave birth at St. Mary's Hospital 10 years ago?" Emma froze. "Yes. Who is this?" "This is Margaret," the woman said. "I was the nurse that night. I heard you work for the Kings now." Emma's heart thumped so loud she could hear it. "Yes," she whispered. "I've kept a terrible secret," Margaret said, voice shaking. "Your baby didn't die. I think it's time you know the truth." Emma closed her eyes as tears fell. "Where can we meet?" she asked. "If your whole life was built on a lie someone told you, would you have the courage to face the truth, or would you run from it?" They met in a small, quiet cafe outside the city. No marble floors. No guards. Just old wooden chairs and the smell of cheap coffee. Nurse Margaret sat across from Emma, hands shaking around her cup. "I was new," Margaret began. "I needed the money." That night, Evelyn King came to the hospital with an offer. Emma listened, her fingers digging into the table edge. "She said her daughter-in-law Sophia couldn't have children," Margaret said. "She wanted your baby for them." Emma felt her stomach twist. "They told me to tell you the baby died," Margaret whispered. "They gave me an envelope with money for you. They took the baby straight to the Kings. I did what they asked. I've never forgiven myself." Emma's voice broke. "My baby, is he Michael?" Margaret nodded slowly. "Yes. The dates, the papers, the birthmark on his shoulder. It's him." Tears spilled over Emma's cheeks. All those nights she had held him, thinking she was just the nanny. All that time, he had been her son. "What do I do?" Emma whispered. "They are powerful. I am nothing. If I speak, they'll destroy me." Margaret looked into her eyes. "You lost him once," the old nurse said softly. "Don't let them steal him again." That evening, Emma gathered all her courage and went to Robert's office. She knocked. He opened the door, looking tired and stressed. Papers everywhere. "Sir, I need to talk to you," Emma said. "It's about Michael and his birth." Robert's face changed. Fear flashed in his eyes. "What do you know?" he asked quietly. "I know enough," Emma whispered. "Please. I need the truth." Robert rubbed his face. "I have a board meeting. The company is in trouble. We'll talk after, I promise." "Sir, please, this can't." "Emma," he said firmly. "I swear we'll talk tonight." He left in a hurry. He never came back. A heart attack on the highway, they said. The car crashed. He died before help reached him. The house turned into a storm. Lawyers, relatives, media. In the middle of that chaos, a lawyer named Mr. Harris came to the kitchen. "Are you Emma?" he asked. "Yes," she replied, scared. He handed her a sealed envelope. "Mr. Robert asked me to give you this. Only if something happened to him." In her little room, Emma opened it with shaking hands. It was Robert's letter. He confessed everything. The baby, the deal, the hospital. He wrote that Michael was her son. He asked her to stay close to him and protect him. Emma pressed the letter to her chest and sobbed. Now, at the funeral, that same letter sat folded in her pocket. Her truth. Her weapon. Her fear. When Michael asked, "Will you be my mother?" she knew. The moment had come. If the truth could set you free but also put you in danger, would you still speak it in front of everyone? Mr. Harris walked slowly to the front of the church. Shoes clicking on the marble floor. Everyone stared. Evelyn's eyes flashed with anger. John's face turned pale. "This won't take long," Mr. Harris said calmly. "But it changes everything about this family. And about Emma." "This is not the time," Evelyn snapped. "We can handle this in private." "With respect, Mrs. King," he replied. "Mr. Robert wanted this to be read if anything happened to him. In public." He opened the document. Michael stood beside Emma, still holding her hand. She could feel him shake. Mr. Harris began to read. "To my son Michael, and to Emma." Evelyn flinched at Emma's name. "If this is being read, it means I am gone. I have carried a heavy secret that was never mine to keep." The room was silent. "Years ago, my mother Evelyn and my brother-in-law John arranged to take a baby from his poor mother. They told her he was dead and gave him to me and my wife Sophia to raise as our own." Whispers exploded. Cameras clicked. That baby's mother was Emma. Emma felt her knees weaken. People turned to look at her like they were seeing her for the first time. "Emma is not only my son's nanny," the letter said. "She is his biological mother." Evelyn shouted, "This is a lie." He was confused. Mr. Harris raised another paper. "These are hospital records," he said. "And Nurse Margaret is here." Margaret stood up from the back, tears in her eyes. "It's true," she said. "I lied to Emma. The Kings paid the hospital. I have carried this sin for 10 years. I am so sorry." Michael looked at Evelyn, then at Emma. "So you stole me from her?" he asked, voice trembling. "Everything we did was for you," Evelyn cried. "We gave you a better life." Michael's small body shook with anger. He turned to Emma. "Is it true?" he whispered. "Are you my mom?" Emma sank to her knees to look him in the eyes. "Yes," she said, tears running freely. "Yes, Michael. I am your mother. I didn't know. When I found out, I was scared. I'm so sorry." He stared at her for a long moment. Then suddenly, he threw his arms around her. "You never left me," he sobbed. "You were always there." The church watched in silence as a poor maid and a billionaire's heir held each other like nothing else in the world mattered. Mr. Harris read the last part. "I leave control of my estate to my son, Michael. Until he is of age, his legal guardian will be Emma, his mother. My mother Evelyn and John will receive nothing until they confess their actions and ask Emma for forgiveness." Evelyn's face drained of color. For the first time, the powerful woman looked truly powerless. The rich family who used to look down on Emma now stood under the harsh light of truth. That was karma. Later, outside by the grave, the rain had stopped. Sunlight broke gently through the clouds. Emma and Michael stood together. "I don't know how to handle all this money," Emma said softly. "But I know how to be your mom." Michael looked up at her. "I don't care about money," he said. "I just don't want to be alone anymore." She smiled through her tears and pulled him close. "You won't be," she whispered. "Not ever again." He took a deep breath. "Mom," he said this time, with a small smile, "will you be my mother forever?" "Yes," she said. "This time, no one can take you from me." The rich who played with a poor woman's life had finally faced their karma. And the nobody they used to humiliate walked away as the true mother and guardian of everything they tried to control. If you were in Michael's place and found out your real mother was the poor maid everyone insulted, would you forgive the rich family for what they did, or walk away and start a new life with her? Share your heart in the comments. Thinking.